All right, so it's that time of the year where like big cheese boards and charcuterie boards are totally trendy, and just look, it's a nice way to make something look really festive, but it's really easy to put together. So today I'm gonna show you how I turned cashews into a cheese, like a festive cheese ball. We're gonna make a cheese ball. And I'm so excited because today's video is sponsored by Almond Cow, the plant-based milk maker. All right, so like I said before, it's the time of year where like charcuterie boards, charcuterie boards are always good and like a really nice, chic way to present snacks if you're throwing like a party or a barbecue or a get together, or just like want to have like a romantic movie night with your significant other. These really nice snack boards, charcuterie boards, cheese boards, whatever you want to call them, are a great way to like class things up with minimal effort. And you can buy a ton of really great plant-based cheeses at the store, but often they're expensive or they're hard to find. So I'm going to show you how to make a nice festive holiday version of a cheese ball made with cashews, but also rolled in cranberries and pistachios. So this cheese is based off of a combination of many different types of cheeses that I've made over the years. It's kind of like my feta mixed with my cream cheese, mixed with like my mozzarella. What makes it festive is we are going to add a little bit of cinnamon, cranberries, and pistachios. Now I know pistachios are super expensive, so if that is outside of your budget, you can also use almonds or walnuts. Any sort of nut is perfect for this. In terms of ingredients, we are going to be, using the typical things that we always use for that umami taste, that kind of fermented cheesy flavor that we need. So we have our miso, we have our apple cider vinegar, we have our lemon juice, and then for that like cheesy pull apartness, we have tapioca starch. Again, if you can't find tapioca starch, you don't have it available to you, you can use a cornstarch, but I definitely recommend tapioca because it definitely gives you that pull that you want. In the actual cheese itself, there's going to be cranberries and cinnamon, and then once that sets, we're gonna roll that in a nice nutty, sweet cranberry like nut coating. Then for the base, I wanted to make it cashews just because that is one of my favorite nuts for cheese. And I have my Almond Cow here, which I've been using to make my own plant-based like nut milks and creamers at home. And what you get when you're left over with making like, whether it's a cashew milk or a cashew creamer, is the pulp. And I don't want to throw that away because I find that it's super wasteful. So we're going to use that pulp to make the cheese along with more cashews. And it is kind of that perfect consistency to use in a cheese. Why would I double up just normal cashews when I have this perfectly good pulp that I, have left over from my Almond Cow? It gives it a really nice like zero waste approach to cooking. All right, so between my partner and I, we go through a lot of plant-based milk. Like I'm talking like upwards of 10 cartons of plant-based milk between like our coffees, teas, what we do here filming. It's a lot of recycling and waste. So I got this to kind of cut down on that. It makes, whatever plant-based milk you want, whether it's from cashews or oats or coconut or almonds, it makes it in like a minute and is super easy. You don't have to worry about straining it, so you don't end up with all that like sediment at the bottom that you would normally get if you make it like in a blender or something. So we've been using this and loving it because it's just easy. I don't have to worry about the waste, like the amount of recycling that I already have, which we're trying to cut down on. It's a lot, so this cuts down on that quite a bit. All right, so I'm putting my cashews into the filter basket. Then I just connect it to the top, put the water into the Almond Cow, and then put the filter basket and the top into the Almond Cow and press the button. And then you just lift out the top. That's where all your pulp is going to be for our cheese, and that is your cashew coffee creamer, or cook with it or whatever. Bake with it, you can do that too. All right, so I have this cute little jug that I've been putting my plant-based milks into, and then just using, whatever container I have at home for the coffee creamer. So that's really cutting down on the waste. Every single Almond Cow potentially helps save 500 cartons from going into a landfill, which is huge, especially when you're cooking as much as I am. And then you can also make milk out of like nuts, grains, seeds, and you can also make lattes and lemonade, and then use the pulp like we're going to do today to make other things like cheese, crackers, and a variety of different types of recipes, and they have a ton on their website too. All right, so now let's make our cheese. So you can make whatever kind of cheese board you want. I'm making this more festive, so with the cranberries, the nuts, the cinnamon, that sort of thing. But I mean, if you want a herb cheese, throw some herbs in there, some garlic, whatever. I find the easiest way to do this is just use a piece of parchment, and I don't have like a cheese mold, but I have a small bowl, so we'll use that. Crumple the parchment, push that into whatever mold you're using. I like it to be round, so we're using round, and then just set it aside. The easiest way to work with parchment is to crumple it up, because then it'll keep whatever shape you need it to, instead of just like rolling on top of itself. The cheese ball or cheese, I don't know, oval, is going to be just rolled in this pistachio and cranberry coating once it's set. So you can just go ahead and do that and just set it aside. So this is the pulp from the almond cow. This is all cashew, so I made a cashew milk, and then I also made a cashew creamer. I have found the easiest way to do it is just take the pulp and put it in a Tupperware, throw it into your fridge, and then when you have enough, you can make something with it. Or try freezing it. That's a great way to keep it as well. So I'm going to throw that into the blender with the rest of my ingredients. Into the blender, we're adding our cashews, our pulp, miso, apple cider vinegar, lemon, cinnamon, salt. Oh, and cranberries, duh. And putting all of that in there and blending it together. So now I'm just going to transfer the whole mixture into a pot, but don't turn it on yet. Now we're going to cook this down over like a medium heat. What this is going to do is it's going to make that tapioca starch like really starchy and get that stretch. It's also what's going to help it set. So definitely like stir it constantly and cook it for the full 5 to 10 minutes. It'll thicken and will no longer be this like runny consistency. It'll be nice and thick. It actually kind of looks like cookie dough or something. But that's exactly what you want. It gets nice and thick, and then we're going to put that into the mold that we created earlier. I'm gonna let this come to room temperature, and then I'm gonna place it in the fridge. All right, so to serve your cheese, or really any cheese that you wanna serve, you have to put a charcuterie board together. So let's do that. This is where the cheese is gonna go. All right, so after it's been in the fridge overnight, I have a little bit of condensation. It's set. Put your coating on the outside. So it doesn't really matter kind of what it looks like here. Firmly press that on. You can also put some plastic wrap down, and then when it's completely coated, like wrap it around and like really press it, but you don't have to. Your hands work perfectly fine and they're waste-free. All right, so we have our cheese board, we have our homemade vegan cheese ball using the pulp from our almond cow. This is the easiest, most delicious way to serve your guests if you are having people over for the holidays or just like want to have a little date night at home. This is so good. Oh my God. This is like all the cheese balls I remember getting as a kid. We used to like go to the grocery store and my mom would get like a sweet one and then a savory one. All of my childhood memories are coming back. This is delicious. I would say it could be better than the ones I remember. But like I said, this one is sweet, but you can make this savory just by subbing it into a couple different ingredients. Super, super easy. And like, we love the fact that we can use the pulp from our almond cow. All right, so that's how to make a super easy vegan festive cheese ball. Let me know if you have any requests for recipes in the comment section down below. And a huge thank you to Almond Cow. Make sure that you check them out. I will leave a link in the description box down below. And if you are interested in this amazing plant-based milk making machine, just, you know, for whatever reason, whether you don't like store-bought plant-based milks, or you are a little concerned about how much waste you're using with all those cartons like I was, and you're interested in checking them out or picking one up, I do have a code. It's EdgyVeg. You get $15 off. I will leave that also in the description box down below with the link, so definitely check them out. And thank you so much to Almond Cow for sponsoring today's video. So if you like this recipe and you want more holiday content or just vegan cheese in general, give this video a big thumbs up so that I know that you like this recipe. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.